Yes, hello again, YouTube. We're back on Deagle. I did forget to say a couple things on the last video about how Israel turns around and sells what the military gives them and makes a profit off of it. You can check that out. What I wanted to show you, this has changed. It showed last year that they were going to reduce the population to 54 million from 326 million. What's interesting is that this has been like 326 million in America, 327 million for the last 4 years, which is, an inaccurate amount. But anyways, so they're going to reduce it to 100 million now by 2025. So that's still a couple hundred million. And you cue balls out there and you Trump supporters, you just really need to wake up, because he's not on your team. And if he was on your team, he would have changed the definition of a domestic terrorist. And I challenge you, cue balls. Why hasn't he? Because Obama's definitions still stand. Patriots, Christians, homeschoolers, returning veterans, animal activists, people who want to make a better world, etc., etc. Those are still on the list of domestic terrorists if the shit hits the fan. And I wanted to say a bit about our treasonous military. Our Constitution is very clear about bribery. Our politicians can't bribe other countries' leaders. They can't bribe other countries' military. That's an automatic arrest and removal from office. And that's when our military generals are supposed to step in and arrest them for treason and violating their oath of office. And our weak-ass treasonous generals don't do their jobs. Just like Trump putting Israel first, putting this country in grave danger for Israel. We all know Iran is not a threat. Iran has done nothing. Same way with Obama, with the false flags, and Bush too. Allowing Netanyahu's lies to come before Congress and lie and to present no evidence, so our soldiers can die, our American soldiers can die, and so they can kill millions of Arabic people because the Jews hate them. And that's the bottom line. It's because of Jew hate. And if you don't believe me, just go read the Talmud, because the Talmud says that non-Jews are beasts, and they should be slaves or killed. And that's probably why they have this 100 million here, is because they've probably figured they didn't have enough for slave labor. And when the shit hits the fan here, don't go with the military. Do not go with the U.S. military, and do not go with any IDF soldiers. They are not going to take you to safety. They are going to take you to a FEMA camp, and then you're going to be rushed off. That is, if you're a healthy younger person, rushed off to Saudi Arabia or Israel so you can be the slave labor. Because you won't be in the U.S. doing the slave labor, because they want the U.S. to themselves. And there's probably a few other things I was going to say. It's still also like the FDA, Monsanto, and the forced vaccines. Once again, I remind everybody, the dual citizens and the non-dual citizens that are voting for these things and allowing these things. They have stocks in these countries, these companies, and these are clear violations of the RICO Act. And once again, our lame-ass military does nothing. They have done nothing. And that just shows you they don't care about this country, so we don't need to support them. They aren't supporting us. They're not here for us. They're certainly not defending us. And I want to say, I'm not really sure about Xi Jinping's meaning of the People's War, but I'm going to take a stab at it, Chinese people. And Xi Jinping knows what I'm talking about here. When our presidents and politicians in D.C., the corporation, not the people, borrow money, they have to personally guarantee it. Now you tell your president to go start attaching their assets to make up for all those trillions of dollars or whatever they owe. We don't owe it, so you don't get our land. Okay? So you tell him to go take Obama's $10 million place in Saudi Arabia and Clinton's property in other countries. You know, she probably has some in Indonesia and probably in China and whatever. And Trump's too, or whatever. So, you know, I want to say something about that. How disgusting is that? Trump giving away something that's not his, the Golan Heights. And what kind of piece of shit would take property that's not theirs? I mean, that goes to tell you what kind of people are over there in Israel that'll just take property that's not theirs. And the kind of demon president we have that would give property away that's not his. And a military that would go over there and defend and kill for demons that steal. And so-called Christians that would defend it. So I don't know what kind of Christians you are. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but certainly you're not of anything good if you are defending that kind of stuff. Like I said, I have a couple. I have to put the proof on these other documents on here. And of course, now my cat's fussing. I apologize for having shitty equipment, but this is the best I can do at the moment. I have more to say, but I have to go.